We're
Rolling
live
on,
now,
and
Nick. We're good.
we're live. So, all right, everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Boating Tips Live, Season 2, Episode 2. Today we are talking new boats for the model, or the 2021 model year, actually going into 2022. We got a lot of new stuff going on. So, Captain Keith, thank you for joining once again. And
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
And we
from
have
the
a
lake.
special guest today, Larry Morgan from, correct me if I'm wrong, Lake. Oh, I can't say it, man. I
Hopatcong.
practiced it 100
Hopatcong.
times.
Oh, I have a lot of practice. Years ago, I used to work for. But
So
years
are
ago,
you
I
up
used
in
to
New
work
Jersey
for.
or where, Larry?
Pardon?
You're up in New Jersey?
So where's Lake Hopatcong?
We are North Jersey. Interstate 80, Route 80, crosses the state of New Jersey. It starts at the George Washington Bridge on the Hudson River, and it goes to Pennsylvania, the Delaware Water Gap Bridge in Pennsylvania. That's 68 miles across. The exit mile markers are 0 to 68 on Interstate 80. And we are at exit 34. It puts us right in the middle of the state, 34 miles from George Washington Bridge in New York.
So we were talking a little earlier. I guess you said that's the biggest lake in the state of New Jersey?
Yes. The rest of them are mostly private lakes. A lot of them have size limitations, like Lake Montauk, which is just north of me, a few miles. They used to be 19 feet 10 inches, and they'll come and measure it with a plumb bob.
Oh, wow.
String had a weight on each end of the boat. They've since changed it. That was the magic number because that's the length of the nautiques and those boats were. They've upped that. I got little pond areas right off 80 that have a 16-foot limit. So, but here we don't have a limit.
Good deal.
So what's it look like up there right now, Larry? I mean, Keith and I are coming at you from Clearwater in St. Petersburg, Florida. Obviously, a whole different ball game up there. You guys deal with a little something called seasons that we're not so familiar with in Florida. So what do your days look like up in the boating industry when, it's, the winter months?
First of all, seasons, there's a good side to having the seasons because we rent dock spaces in the water for the summer. And then we store more boats than we dock because we can rent land space easier. We'll winterize and store. We might winterize 500 boats, and then we'll keep on the property 100 boats. That's a big business for us. Our largest source of retail labor is from winterization. But to answer your question, right now I think it's 34 degrees, and we got an 80% chance of snow tomorrow, which will be our first snow of the season. So we've been lucky. We've had a mild winter. So I switch over.
Does the lake freeze?
Pardon?
Does the lake freeze up there?
Does not. There is a little glazing of ice now. It'll freeze, and some people go out when it's marginal just to ice fish.
Yeah. Well, good stuff. Well, it's I mean, I know that you guys with those seasons from a sales perspective as well, a lot of times you're dealing with the big New York boat show and stuff like that to kick things off here in the spring. Boat shows are, not to say they're non-existent anymore, but they're a little bit different and they're not as plentiful as they were in the past. So how does that look like for you guys are you guys doing a lot of virtual showings and stuff like that, or what's changed this year for you?
We really share inventory because in New Jersey, the stores are a little bit close together. I think it's 80 miles for me to go to Brick. That would take an hour and a half. So we can go get a boat there easily and bring it back. Ship Bottom store on Long Beach Island, which is a big sort of a tourist there. It's like your Longboat Key. And we can be down there in 2 hours and pull inventory. I had a customer this Saturday, went to the Summers Point store to look at a boat, which he bought. Someone down there showed it for me. So the boat shows is a different life, but there were a little bit of holdback. We would get people in November and December all wanting to wait for the boat show, like something was there'd
Yeah.
be new inventions or something. Now we didn't have that with waiting for the boat show, so we had a bigger December than we would have had if there was going to be a boat show.
That good stuff. That's an interesting take. And obviously, with everything going on right now, if you have been in the market for a boat in the past year or so, you would know about the inventory shortage. So, a lot of times, I mean, the New York Boat Show, comes up there in the spring or whatever it is, late winter. And by the time you'd order that boat, you might not even see it through your summer. And, down here, Keith and I mean, people don't really mind waiting for their boats because what difference does it really make if they get it in November or if they get it in June? It really doesn't matter. However, up there, the difference between June and November is, I mean, that's your boating season.
We'll sell boats all winter, whether they're from the boat shows or not, but then they all deliver, it accumulates. They'll all deliver like from middle of April till the middle of May. We'll sell new sales and deliver them after, but there's a big backlog of delivery. So service really has to schedule that. They can't have everybody coming in on Saturdays for delivery. We got to get spread out throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a task, making sure we have the proper stock of the batteries and the life vests. And we don't want to store Coast Guard package for 50 boats because they're a big box. So we got to keep the flow going.
Right. Guess we might have lost Larry.
Well, we got you behind the curtain there, Larry. But while you get that figured out, Keith, why don't we answer some of these questions over here? We've got Jag Pimp, greetings from Tucson. I'm assuming Arizona. So thanks for joining in. We got Andrew saying, "Hey, Andrew, right back at you." We have Lisa Harrison, greetings from Clearwater, Florida, coming from YouTube, and we've got a couple other questions down there below. Any other questions? Remember, Boating Tips Live, guys, is all about answering your questions. So Keith and I have something to talk about. No questions, no show. So, and I know that we all want the show.
Yeah, I'm seeing scrolling through here too. We got TJ Grinders on here and Chuck Rubin just joined in. Hey, Chuck, good to see you on here today.
Hey, TJ, thanks for letting me use your office.
Is that where you're at?
Yeah, I'm in TJ's office. NYSC is a pretty packed place, so sometimes the biggest challenge is finding a quiet room.
So it looks like David Ingram on here said heading to Jacksonville Thursday for their show and also some warmth. It's good to see. I mean, we just had, boat shows are starting back up a little bit. Things are starting to open up a little bit. We just had the St. Pete Boat Show. I think you and I talked about that last week. But hopefully we're on the downslope on this, COVID thing and get back to normal here.
Yeah, I like to think that we're closer to the end than the beginning, right?
I think we are. I guarantee it, man. We're there. So Bob Piccoli's got a question. Have you seen the new Aquila 54? I have not. That guy there has. He's even driven it. So what's up with that one, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can sit here and talk about the Aquila, both the Aquila 54 and the 70 for a solid hour, Bob. And I think that it's going to be wise to, in the future, get some of the Aquila executives on this show. With that being said, I'll give you guys the Spark Notes. In short, the Aquila 54 and the Aquila 70 are everything that they've hyped them up to be. We've waited a very long time. We have, expected different dates and stuff like that for debuts. With everything going on through the whole COVID situation, it's up the ante a little bit. And with that, we might have waited an extra year or two to see this Aquila 54 and 70. And when you see the boats, I've seen them, having sold hull number one over the past year, you see the renderings and then I got to where they were stored the other day and I saw the Sky Lounge popping out from the top of the other boats. And it almost brought a tear to my eye just seeing how beautiful the two boats are. The 54 is phenomenal. And both of these new modern power catamarans they're just that. They're modern. And a lot of times we'll talk about our galleon yachts that MarineMax is going to sell, and you look at them and it's like, man, there's no mistaking that's a galleon. And you look at the new Aquila 54 and 70, the lines, the innovations, the fit, the finish, it's all there, and they run spectacularly on the water. It's they serve a purpose just as much as they look good, and a lot of that goes back to that Aquila DNA, back to a lot of them being developed for the charter program down in the British Virgin Islands, and I can go on, but the only thing is, Bob, it's worth the hype. They're everything that they claim to be, and then some. So that's a great question, and I see you have one reserve. So congratulations, you are going to be absolutely blown away when you see the boat, and even more blown away when you actually take it out. So that's my 2 cents, Keith.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to actually get on both of those boats on Wednesday. Go to our top secret spot and climb aboard and get to go through them. I can't wait.
You're gonna be impressed. I know you're a tough critic, but you're gonna like them.
Hey, something else you just dawned on me. I meant to, we'll talk to the people behind the curtain, but a good guest to have on here, speaking of Aquila, be Roger. Get Roger Watson on here with us.
I was talking to Kathy about
takes
that
him
today.
straight from, yeah. So, Lisa and Kelly and you guys back behind the scenes there, so you can jot that name down.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like we got Larry back. So welcome back, Larry.
Hey, welcome back. Yep.
Yep, there he is.
I'm getting a little redundancy on the sound.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there.
You have that?
Yeah, we're hearing it from you as well.
Do you have the headphones plugged
Either
in?
way.
So we were talking about brands of boats we sell, and besides, MarineMax has over 20 brands of boats. We don't sell all of these brands. We're dealers for like 7 or 8 brands, but mainly we're a center for Sea Ray, Harris Float Boats, and some Boston Whalers.
Okay, so you deal a lot of smaller whalers on the lakes?
We deal with some smaller whalers. And they'll be like a 27-inch size. The 27-foot gauntlets without the T-top will fit under the bridge.
Yeah, I'm having a little of a tough time hearing you, Larry. So I don't know if the viewers are experiencing the same problem.
But unplug my mic. You hear me better now?
No.
Might be. Where's So Nick, we've been talking about, in the past, the boat shortage and all that stuff. It's actually just came off the wire today with the Brunswick Corporation announced it is increasing production capacity at 3 of its global boat manufacturing facilities to meet unprecedented consumer demand and assist in replenishing historically low field inventories. It's going to reopen its 225,000 square foot Palm Coast, Florida boat manufacturing facility, expand dedicated manufacturing capability. It's going to increase Boston Whalers output by 40%. And it's like by the end of this year, it should be up and going. So, I mean, that's huge.
Oh, I know. I mean, the whaler plant, last time I was there was probably 2 years ago, and they had already expanded. And I mean, quite frankly, they didn't have a choice. I mean, there's some models of Boston Whaler, like for instance, a 21 Montauk, I believe, or the 25 Dauntless. I mean, the demand is so great with them. I mean, we're already looking at ordering ones in a 2022 model year, and that's just crazy to even think. It's that's definitely a big move. I think it's definitely the right move by them doing this. I think we're going to see another strong year if the trend keeps up. And And there's going to be a little bit of a difference this year going into the spring, Keith. Last year, we had all the inventory in the world. And when that demand shot up, it wasn't a problem until we ran out of boats. This year, inventory is tough as it is. So we really got to get them. We got to get on the water while it's good. And those, popular brands, those Sea Rays, those Whalers, all those Brunswick-owned boats, we're definitely, from a sales perspective, I'm definitely rooting for them to, shoot that production up. And do you know if it was just Boston Whaler or if it was Sea Ray as well?
No, Sea Ray as well, and another boat that they make too. So, and one of the Sea Ray plants are going to go to 7 days a week, man. It's just going to continuously roll. So, I mean, for Brunswick to be dumping that kind of money into this, and for the long-term range, I mean, there's no way in the world they think this spike we're in right now is short-lived. So they're ramping everything up to come full blast.
Good stuff. Well, welcome back, Larry.
I don't know if my voice is still doubled up.
Yeah, it's doubled over. Either way, Keith. Well, we're here anyways, and we what we're doing, Larry. We've got a bunch of questions coming in from the audience, so we're gonna get to those questions here one by one. We're gonna talk about some boats. So let's see, Keith. I'll let you answer this one from Kelly Berry. What 2021 model year boats are you most excited about, and why?
Shoot, man, we're already probably looking at 2022s, but 2021s. I mean, we were fortunate here at the Clearwater store, the worldwide unveiling of the new 325 galleon, the GTO.
Yes.
It's if you guys haven't seen it, you can go on to MarineMax's pages or YouTube and look for the 325 galleon. They did a really nice video, real good walkthrough. They did that here in the showroom, and then they went out on the water and did some stuff. That thing is a neat boat, so I think there's a lot of opportunity with that one. So it's actually leaving our store tomorrow, and I think it's going to kind of make its way around the country. So hull number one, we've been working on it, and they've been tweaking some things, but it's definitely going to be a head turner, game changer on that one. It's nice.
I changed my headset.
There you go.
You sound good now, Larry.
I'm still double up there. Still
sound better. You sound better on this one.
Yeah, you sound good. So before we get to some other questions here about the 2021 model year, and we'll talk about the Galleon GTO a little bit more too, which I believe is the first of a few models of their lineup. Larry, why don't you tell us about your MarineMax story and how you got into the industry?
I've been in the boat since I was a teenager. Started at a highway store. It used to be the big dealers for highway stores, and that changed. Now all the big dealers are on the water. But I started before Sea Ray was a brand, and then just continued. There's always just been a Sea Ray dealer here on Lake Hopatcong since 1963.
Oh, good stuff. So you've been doing it a little while, huh?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Not everything's changed. The boats have changed. They're bigger, faster. The four-stroke engine made the big difference.
So up there on the lake, do you still see many stern drives?
A lot of stern drive. There's still, if I was telling someone a 270 Sun deck, it'll be a stern drive.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you don't have the problems like we do with saltwater with the manifolds, risers, elbows, and the exhaust and all that.
Risers here go forever.
Yeah. It's kind of neat, man. We'll get a boat that'll come down here on trade from up north, and it could be a 12-year-old boat, somebody's got, and it looks like brand new, like it just come off the showroom floor down here, without that salt water.
There just aren't enough of so you can't get people just looking for that.
So Ron Shinnick has got a question here for you guys. What's the difference between a Montauk and a Dauntless?
Yeah, absolutely, Ron. That's a great question. Your Montauks, I think that arguably the most recognizable hull on the water in the United States of America is a Boston Whaler 17 Montauk. Everybody, it's a household name. Chances are you've made some memories on it when you were a little kid, whether it's with your grandparents or your parents. Everybody knows a Boston Whaler Montauk, and they haven't changed a great deal over the years. I mean, they switched them up for the 60th anniversary in 2018, and they widened it a little bit. But I mean, shoot, even the Montauks from the 60s and 70s are going to have the same notorious whaler smirk, and they're unsinkable and stuff. You cut them in half and stuff like that. So the Boston Whaler Montauk is one of the most versatile boats that you can have, whether you're fishing, you're trying to get in shallow water, you're looking to go offshore and you want that safety and you want a good ride. So that's the Boston Whaler. It's kind of made famous, those reverse chines and stuff like that. Then what's the difference between a Montauk and a Dauntless? So previously, keep in mind they're redoing a Dauntless line right now. Previously, you had a lot of stuff that would overchange. You had 15, 17, 19, 21-foot Montauks. You also had 18-foot, 17-foot Dauntlesses as well. And now you're not going to see that. So now the smallest Dauntless that you're going to be seeing is going to be the 22 Dauntless, which is going to be quite a bit different. And the and the the Montauks are going to stay the same for a few years. With that being said, all things equal, in my opinion, the Dauntlesses are going to be a little bit larger. They're going to be a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for, Keith? I don't want to say seaworthy, but I'd probably rather take a 24 Dauntless offshore than a 17 Montauk.
Well, yeah, but then look at the length, the difference in the length you're talking about too.
Mhm.
So I mean, I've had a 21 Montauk up and hitting the Homosassa River, and I mean it's just gnarly, nasty. The currents running, boats are running everywhere. I mean, and that boat it's a squared off bow with that reverse chine. It's a beast. I mean, it just knocks the waves down. But like you said, your Dauntlesses are bigger. So they're kind of a more combination. Run offshore, flats boat, go to the beach kind of boat. Your Montauks are just boxier and you're kind of in the boat more than maybe you're riding on top of a Dauntless.
Yeah, and another thing, Keith and Larry, since we're talking about new models, I did get a chance last Friday to run a new 250 Dauntless, which replaced the 240 Dauntless, and I was extremely impressed. I think that the boat looks extremely modern. It looks great, handles great. I know that they increased the dead rise on that boat, so it's going to ride a little bit better. It's going to have a smoother re-entry off of wakes and just and you didn't even see a big price increase too. I mean, over the 240s. I mean, sometimes when you'll see manufacturers, redesign a model, the price is going to jump, but it's just about the same. And I mean, it's just an awesome boat. I don't know if you've ran either the new 220 or the new 250, but very, very, very impressed with the way that boat handles.
Yeah, I was able to down to Sarasota. They had them down there and got on both of them, and yeah, not a thing wrong with either one of them. They're laid out really nice.
How was
And
my
the amount of R&D.
no,
Yep.
still
Go ahead, Larry.
I tried my audio again, but it's still a problem.
Yeah, Keith, can you hear him just fine?
It's just like an echo or a lag.
So either way,
he's working on he's working on trying to fix it.
All right. Well, either way. So anyway, Keith, have you been to Whaler Plant?
Not in quite a few years.
But
I've been over there. I've been over there a couple times.
Okay. So the amount of R&D that goes into every single one of these new models is, I mean, it's astonishing. I mean, if Whalers and I carry a bunch of different brands, I sell a bunch of different brands. I drive a bunch of different brands. So I'm not married to Whaler, but you got to give credit where credit's due. The amount of R&D that they put into every single new model to before they put either a new model or a new line onto the market is absolutely astonishing. I've been into their R&D room, and there are some very smart people, way smarter than me selling them, that are there designing them, and there is not a single stone that is left unturned, in the Boston Whaler R&D department. And it's very, very impressive. So if they're going to come out and redesign a lineup, if they're going to come out and put a new line out there, and the old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, they're going to make sure that they're going to come at it correct, if you know what I mean.
Yep, they've done a great job. I mean, think how many years are go into the process. Who knows what they've got back there behind closed doors that we can't even see or even think about right now,
Yeah.
Being tested on somewhere, or mercury on Lake X, or what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, who knows?
Have you
I
been to Lake
guarantee you
X ever?
something's up, man, because, I mean, opening up that whole new facility and everything else. So they got something going.
Have you been to Lake X?
I have not. I've been past it. I think it's like over in St. Cloud area, Florida, there in the center of the state. I haven't been on it.
I want to go.
I don't have the clearance.
Neither do I. I went up to Fond du Lac where they make the engines, and I told Robin, our Mercury guy up there, I'm like, man, I want to go to Lake X. And Mercury was founded on the guy that started Mercury. His name's drawn a blank. I really should know. I know it starts with a K. I can't pronounce it right now. It's like Kiefenhauer or something like that. Anyway, he was notorious for being overly paranoid about people stealing what was going on, and that still translates over today to Mercury. I mean, Lake X, I mean, shoot, how long did they test the supercharged Verado for years before it finally came to market?
Yep.
Top secret too. I mean,
yep, top secret. Then when they had it in the field, I know that they would disguise it, put different kind of looking cowlings on stuff, and it's pretty heady stuff, where they take care of it and make sure it's nobody's getting the goodies.
I want to go someday. Hey, Mercury, if you're watching this, why don't you let Keith and I come to Lake X, and we'll sign whatever sort of NDAs we need to sign, and just get us in there. We're good for it.
Yeah, maybe Tad's listening.
Maybe Tad, Robin, anybody. So let us in. I promise we won't tell. We can keep a secret.
Are the blue collar cooking? Are the 2021?
A lot of good questions here today, Keith. Huh?
Yeah, that's why we're trying to keep up with them, so we don't have people check out before we get to them. So the 2021 Sea Ray 320 Sundancer stern drives in short supply. You got a better idea on inventory than I do.
But I'm not real. It's a good question. I'm not real familiar with the stern drive inventory, Keith. Quite frankly, I'm sure if Larry was still on here, I'm sure he's following it around. What you and I are going to deal with are more outboards. It seems like that the toughest range to come across right now is your 29 to 32 footers. I'm talking your 290 SDXs, your 310 SLXs, your 320 Vantages, especially, man. They're like six months out. It seems like that size range is just the toughest to get a hold of because they're a little bit more extravagant to make, and I mean the demand is still there. So I've actually never delivered a 320 outboard. Keith, I know you've delivered a few. What are your thoughts on that boat altogether?
I've probably delivered a dozen of them.
Really?
I might have done a stern drive boat actually. But vast majority outboard
that store, but yeah.
I mean, we've done them twin engine, triple engines. Quite a few of them, man. They're really nice running boat. Everybody likes the bow. People get on a boat. Where do they run to? Where do they gravitate to? They want to go sit up front. So you go up there and you got the nice cabin. So Sea Ray, that's kind of their cruiser right now. So if you want to, you want to take off and go to a trip, you want to go down to South Seas, or you want to go to Longboat or whatever, you got the shore power, you got the grill, you got the fridge, you got everything that you need, air conditioning in the cabin and the cockpit. It's a hell of a boat.
And it's a common misconception as well. A lot of people that are Sundancer fanatics might look at the new 320 Sundancers, whether it's an outboard or an inboard, and they see the bow seating and they say, okay, hey, why the heck did you guys do that? Now the cabin's going to be too small. That is not the case whatsoever. So you gain that bow seating. You're not losing any space down below. You truly do have the best of both worlds, between the kitchen and, the bed and stuff like that and the bow seating. You're really not sacrificing. You're not compromising at all. So that's my hot take right there.
Well said. Very factual.
So let's see, Keith, you want to field some more questions here off to the side?
Sure, man. Let's go. Yeah.
Looks like we got Vito there. Vito, thank you for joining us. Join us every single week. A lot of great questions. Vito Lucci, just going to ask about the new Galleon model. What are the contrasts between the Sea Ray 320 Sundancer outboard coupe and the Galleon 325 GTO? Keith, I'm going to let you take that, man. You got a ton of experience with both boats.
Well, with the outboard coupe, I mean, what are you talking about? The Sea Ray and then between that and the Galleon?
Yeah, the new Galleon versus the Sea Ray 320.
Well, you got the side door that opens up the whole cockpit. You got the bow seating. The bow seating in that is kind of more squared off on the Galleon, and it's got forward seating to where you can actually kind of sit up on the leading edge of the boat and face backwards. The interior lighting, the stereo system, and all that stuff. It's a really dressed up, pretty boat. So, you're gonna have to, when it makes the rounds, try to find out where it is and, go get your eyes on it.
Yeah, good stuff. I saw it last weekend at your Demo Days event, but I didn't get a chance to hop on it. I looked at it, though. I didn't get a chance to drive it. I want to run a thing more than anything.
Yeah, I haven't either. They've been working on stuff and tweaking things, and then it's going to leave tomorrow. So,
Looks like Vito asked another question here. Can you enclose the hull like a coupe, like on the Sea Ray? That I don't know. I don't. I'm gonna say no, but I don't know. I don't think so. But valid question. I got a good question up here from Matthew Walls coming in from YouTube. Is there any truth to the Yamaha engine shortage? Oh, yeah, big time, especially on the small engines. Those 25s are super hard to get a hold of nowadays, for tenders and stuff like that. That's where I've experienced some challenges on the smaller stuff, getting those engines over here. They are pretty backed up right now. A lot of people repowering too. And we look forward to meeting you too as well, Vito. And you're working with Ian Stevenson. Ian's a great guy. I've got to know him pretty well over the years, and you're in very good hands. So, thumbs up.
I know you're kind of on the techie end of things here, Nick. So, Kevin B's got a question about your thoughts on Volvo buying and then closing down 7 Marine, and the impact on future high horsepower outboards from other manufacturers. I mean, you know more about it than I do, but I wouldn't worry a bit about that. Mercury's got something coming.
Yeah,
and
Yamaha. Absolutely. So I'm gonna cut me off, Keith, if I go for so long here because I'm about to lay it all down.
Go for it, man.
Man, what a year for outboard engines, huh? I mean, we had Evinrude stop producing outboards. BRP. Evinrude no more. Okay. Marine 7, boom, out of business. I mean, shoot, now we're talking there's Mercury and Yamaha both at the top. You had Suzuki come down there from the side and say, hey, you guys can do your thing up there on a new boats. We're going to come in. We're going to be your, we're going to specialize in repowers, whatever. Different conversation. Mercury and Yamaha, both fantastic outboard engines. We deal both with them. We got one coming, from Japan. The other's coming from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Mercury and Yamaha almost own the outboard market now, and everybody else has kind of gone off to the side. With that being said, these larger size outboard engines, that market is wide open now, and manufacturers they're producing these center consoles, these expresses, these outboard powered boats over 40 and now even 50 feet. It's going to require bigger engines. You can't be putting 6 or 7 outboards on the back of these boats just because you want to make them bigger, and you don't have any bigger engines. So that's where Yamaha came in. Yamaha comes with the 425 XTO. That is not a go fast engine. That is a big prop, big boat engine. So you can stick 2 or 3 of them on the back of a boat instead of 4 or even more engines to push these big boats through the water. And then Mercury comes through with a 450, and, that's more of a racing engine. But, I'm sure Mercury is, going after that section of the market too. I'm sure they're working for something on Lake X. But yeah, that's a great question, Kevin. The outboard engine market has changed a lot in 2020, and there's a lot up for grabs, and I think it is so exciting. I think that the greatest thing going on right now, and the quickest thing that's evolving, is outboard technology. And that's why we're seeing more and more of a shift towards outboard engines, because the technology's there. It's exciting. It's like the great horsepower race of the 1960s or whatever. And there's a lot of innovation going on, and it seems like every year there's something new and exciting that's going to change the world of boats, when in relation to outboard engines. So, yeah.
Bravo.
Go boldly.
Nice. Absolutely. Scroll on down here.
Good question.
They're stacking up here. Absolutely, it was. Andrew Serpez. Andrew Serpez.
Where's that one?
Has a 24-foot Sea Ray. Has a 24-foot Sea Ray Sundancer for sale with a new 350 mag motor in Key Biscayne, Florida. So, hey, maybe we'll become the Craigslist boat trader here on here. Even put his phone number in
Andrew,
there. So Andrew,
yeah,
being a good viewer and everything, let's put your phone number out there for everybody watching or listening.
Sounds good.
What?
Give Andrew a call, and somebody go buy his Sea Ray Sundancer, and then take it in a MarineMax and get that thing surveyed.
There you go.
Ooh, got a good question for you down here, Keith.
Where are you looking?
From James Eduardo. I am a first-time boater. I was considering a Montauk 150 with a 60 horsepower engine. Then I came across a model with a Yamaha 70 horsepower engine. How much difference in power? And I'm going to let you explain the Mercury versus Yamaha thing on whalers.
Well, first of all, it's got to be it's a used boat, I would imagine. I mean, because Brunswick and Mercury and Whaler are all the same company under Brunswick. I would stick with the Mercury product myself. I don't deal with a lot of the smaller Yamaha horsepowered engines. So what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Yamaha guy. I'm a Mercury guy as well. I can say great things about both engines. However, when it comes to Boston Whaler, those boats are built around a Mercury engine. They are. Those boats are built around Mercury engines, and you can't get them any other way. I'd stick with the 60. I've ran plenty of 150 Montauks with 60 horsepower Mercuries. It is a match made in heaven, and as far as new boats go, one of the things that I really enjoy from a sales standpoint is when you have both Mercury and Boston Whaler both being a Brunswick company. If you ever run into any warranty issues or anything, there's no finger pointing going on. There's no boat manufacturer blaming it on the engine manufacturer. That's not how it's going to work. With them both being owned by the same parent company, they're going to work together and take care of the customer. And how many times have you and I seen that happen on the back end of things? I mean, Whaler and Mercury making things right.
Yep. Absolutely, they do. And MarineMax standing behind you as well.
Yep. Looks like we got a lot of good questions today, guys. I wish the questions were this good every week. Got Quint Cool coming in. I was considering a Galleon 460 Fly, but I'm not sure I have enough experience with that big of a boat. Can you give me some help? Yeah, absolutely. The bigger they are, the easier they are to drive. Right, Keith?
Roger that. No doubt about it. I don't know what your experience level is, but that's not a tough boat to run. If you're jumping into it though, and like maybe you don't have any experience whatsoever, your insurance company may actually require you to get, a few hours of experience with the captain. just to kind of sign off on you and just say that, yeah, the guy's qualified. He's not going to be rolling into a marina and, hit the throttles instead of the shifters and then do some damage. But honestly, man, I mean, if you got a little eye-hand coordination and some common sense and you just take your time and you go easy and you get behind the helm, that 46 flies, it's going to shrink down. It's not going to be that big of a boat. It's a very manageable, comfortable boat to run. You shouldn't have any problems.
Yeah, especially, if you've got the tools, use them.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Got Ron Shinnick again. Are there any available slips in the Tampa Clearwater area for a week? Yeah, there's transient slips somewhere. They might be a little harder to come across as we make our way into the spring now.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, there's slips down by the Marriott and, the Channel Side District and all that stuff that the city of Tampa runs over at Marjorie Park. They've got slips there. You guarantee you're not going to find any, though, that in 2 weeks with Super Bowl right down there on the waterfront.
What a party that's going to be. Is MarineMax doing anything?
So I haven't heard anything. It's probably to, stand by to find out. But Tampa, Clearwater,
Man.
just check with your marinas. You can go to Docwa and, find out transient slips and stuff like that, whether it's, St. Pete Municipal, Clearwater Marina. They're definitely around.
Good stuff. Do it in advance. Don't be planning a trip out before you know where you're going to stay, or else you might end up anchoring up somewhere.
Yeah.
Got one more question here, and it's nice to see some viewers starting to hop on. We starting to gain some viewers here towards the end. Got Thomas Hughes. I am considering to retire, sell my Florida house, and be a seasonal resident on a boat. Great plan, Thomas. Is there a recommended boat for me and wife to stay on for several months? I'm a believer of outboards. Yeah, absolutely. Just one, make sure that it's got a head, make sure it's got a place to sleep. Outboard powered. There's really only one boat that comes to mind. I mean, I'm thinking of a 36 Aquila right now, but there's definitely other boats out there. What do you think, Keith?
And if you want to go a little bigger, man, don't be bashful. Don't be shy of like that 44 Aquila, with the Volvo diesels. If you're going to be staying on the boat, then you got plenty of room. You got plenty of storage. It's a big boat. You can go to the Keys. You can go to the Bahamas. You can, spend the summers up in New England and the winters down in the Bahamas. I mean, you could literally just travel around and live on a boat. We had a viewer on here earlier today, a doctor and his wife that, they sold their place up in New Jersey, I believe, up somewhere up north in New England, and a couple years ago, and they live aboard their 44 Aquila right now, and they've got a home port that they're at most of the time, but they want to feel like time to let go of the dock lines and hop in, and off they go. Home's where you drop anchor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And Thomas, I definitely get the whole outboard thing too. And I'm a big outboard guy myself. However, when you get to the larger boats and the more liveaboards and stuff like that, there is something to be said about a diesel engine, a Volvo diesel, or whatever that might be to I mean, in the saltwater, they're tried and true as well.
Mm-hmm. And then those Aquilas too, you got the inverters and plus the generator. Plenty of power to run all your systems and things like that. So
looks like we got Michael joining us in. I believe Michael was at the event last weekend. He says, I was just on the 325 GTO Galleon that I would consider living on that. It was nice. Well, thanks for coming out, Mike. So hope you enjoyed the event. Hope you enjoyed the first
Very cool.
look. And Andrew, we got Andrew again. How do we find boats going over to Bimini that we can convoy with out of Miami? So you're going to find that at MarineMax.com. We're going to ask the man behind the curtain to drop our getaways link down below, see what kind of Bimini runs we're doing. And who knows, maybe someday Keith and I will join you.
Yep. And if you are not a MarineMax customer, You could probably, hopefully you're a CTO or a Boat US client. They would be able to give you information over there on that side of over on that coast too, as well. For a convoy of boats going over together. So you got safety in numbers.
Cool.
So.
Sounds good. Looks
Hey,
like
Vito,
we got
thank
some
you for
viewer love coming in.
Yeah, I was gonna say thanks, man.
Thanks for love, guys. Hey, Keith, while I got you on here, man, how'd your intro to boating class go last weekend?
It was good.
I saw you in action.
It was good. We're fortunate here. We got a nice big showroom. We kind of social distanced everybody, and it was good. It was great to be back in front of a live audience. So it's been a year, and I think everybody really enjoyed it. It was everybody there pretty much was. Let's see, we had one couple that were already boaters that were getting out of a 27 SDX and bought a 36 Aquila.
Oh, nice.
And then actually a customer that from St. Pete, another couple, just bought the Cobalt that we'd had in on trade down there. But then everybody
recognized them.
Yeah, but then everybody else, it was, new boaters wanting to get into it and just kind of getting their feet wet and seeing what it was all about. So, we go through safety gear and go through the channel markers and the rules of the road and sit down with a chart and really learn to appreciate how much you love a chart plotter and how fast it works for you. But like I tell these people at the end of the day, this class, in 10 minutes,
hey, Rich,
they can sit there and if they've got a chart in front of them and it's dark and they lose their chart plotter, they'll be able to look things over and figure out how to get from point A to point Z, so all the light characteristics and the different things. So it's a good class, so I enjoy doing it. And it's a good couple hours spent on a Saturday morning.
Yeah. I think every new boater should take one personally, but hey, that's just me. What, before we get off here, what kind of deliveries you got going on this week?
Let's see. I got a 35 Outrage tomorrow. Going here, going to do a lot of electronics training on that. Loaded it up with Garmin stuff. I've got some Montauks. Let's see. I don't know. I didn't really look the calendar over yet. See what's out. I know Wednesday through Friday is booked, and hopefully my Saturday stays open.
Cool. Got a lot going on this week here. You got Michael Lucas. Congrats to you, Captain Nick. Thank you so much, Michael. Is it still the honeymoon? Nope, honeymoon's over. Went to a South Seas Island resort down in Captiva. So I don't know if you've bought your boat yet or you're still looking, but once you do, that's definitely got to be one of the first places on your list. All right, one more. Keith and I are going to swing the bat at this one. It's a good question. We got Scott over here. Well, first we'll get to Rich. Let's see. Rich, where is Captain Keith from? Short answer.
Clearwater, Florida store.
Scott, to get back to your question, we'll give you the short answer here as we're running out of time. What, if any, benefits to an outboard versus an inboard outboard? In the saltwater, I always gravitate towards the outboards. You don't need to deal with the manifolds and risers, and you can also trim the whole engine out of the water if you need to. Keith, go.
Yep, ease of flushing, and just look around. That's what the market is, the saltwater market. Very, very few stern drives anymore. Outboard's the ticket.
Good stuff. And then we got Bob down there. What is the approximate retail price for the new Sea Ray 400 SLX with upgraded electrical outboards? Upgraded electrical outboards, Seakeeper, etc. shown on YouTube. Bob, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get with you here soon. I don't know if you're talking about the 400 SLXR like we saw in that YouTube video. Beautiful boat, over the top. But let me send you a DM. So, Bob Gets on YouTube. I'll get y'all taken care of, Bob. Good stuff. Well,
there you go,
awesome
Nick.
questions.
So we might have helped Andrew sell his boat, and look at here, we might find Bob a boat.
That's what it's all about. Keith, it's been a pleasure, my brother.
Hey, Nick, it always is. Why don't you take us on out of here?
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us once again. If you have any questions that come up, drop them in the comments. Keith and I are monitoring them before we go live every single week. You can find us on Facebook at MarineMax. You can find us on Instagram at MarineMax Online. You can find us on Twitter at MarineMax. And you can stream all these shows, whether it's the first episode or this episode today. You can stream us on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, any major streaming platform you can find Boating Tips Live on. And we look forward to joining you guys next week. And if there's any guests that you would like to see on this show, go ahead and drop them in the comments so we can reach out. And I look forward to seeing